Quý vị vừa nghe Tuyết Minh và nhìn thấy Tuyết Minh trong một chương trình văn nghệ gây quỹ từ thiện của Vietnam Health vào năm 2009. Và sau đây xin tất cả quý vị hãy nghe một bài thơ của Tuyết Minh làm và do cháu Nhã Hạnh trình bày.
A time for rest. The road seems so long then short. The drive seems so fast then slow. The city attraction shows of its glow. What is it to follow a past? Here are the streets up and down for treat. San Francisco, such complete divine. The romance and the class of twilight blend in with those high-rise buildings. The heart skips a pulse for fate, then a pulse for an escaped ecstasy. Years gone by since spirits set free, subconscious awaken in the night of mist. Take these hands for those palms so wet. Take these arms for the shake and shiver. Take this soul for a confess to heal. Tears had dropped in those years apart. May forgiveness be given at last for the unfolded love of a decade to thrive. Never say or ask if and why, but just look gently to caress. Dear sweetheart, it's time for a rest.
Thưa quý vị, chúng ta đều biết chị Minh là một người hát hay vì chị hát từ hồi còn bé. Nhưng như tôi đã nói, tuy là em gái nhưng cho tới hôm nay tôi mới biết được chị là một nhà thơ. Vì trong suốt thời gian chị bị bệnh thì chị lại express cái feeling của mình qua poems. That's another beautiful side of Đỗ Thị Tuyết Minh. Thưa quý vị, Đỗ Thị Tuyết Minh đã để lại cho đời rất nhiều kỷ niệm đẹp. Chị đã thành công trong sự nghiệp, chị đã đạt được những điều mình mong muốn. Nhưng nếu chúng ta hỏi chị Minh trong cuộc đời của chị, điều gì là quan trọng nhất? The answer is my three sons. Chúng tôi sẽ được giới thiệu, xin được trình diện cùng quý vị ba con trai của chị Đỗ Thị Tuyết Minh. Các cháu Daniel, Andrew và Tyler. Phải nói trong những tháng cuối cùng chị Minh đã đau, đã bệnh rất là nhiều. Chúng tôi nghĩ là chị mệt từ khoảng tháng 5. Nhưng chị đã vùng dậy, đã lóe lên thật tươi như một bông hoa, thật mạnh mẽ trong ngày lễ ra trường của con trai thứ hai của chị. Tôi chưa bao giờ thấy chị vui mừng như vậy khi chị biết con chị đã tốt nghiệp đại học, danh dự và để được chọn để đọc speech trong cái ngày lễ ra trường. Đó là một niềm vui vô cùng lớn lao đối với chị Tuyết Minh. Và bây giờ thì thay mặt cho các con cháu, Andrew sẽ có đôi lời cùng tất cả chúng ta.
So I'm here to represent all my mother's kids, which I hope is just the three of us. And I didn't write a speech or anything. I just thought I would just kind of speak what I feel and probably how my brothers also feel. Growing up with my mother, she was a very complex person. It was very difficult at times, but at the same time, she was also a big inspiration for at least myself. I had many friends who came over when I was much younger, and they also got to know who my mother was. And at times, there were much speculation of what she did because she was always gone. I remember some of them thought she was a CIA agent or maybe working as a spy for a foreign government, which may be true, I don't know. And I just thought, what a chance to be a son of a person who has accomplished so much. Growing up, I always heard of the different accomplishments she did, but looking back, every time she checked something off her list, I didn't really think too much of it until I read every single different accomplishment she did throughout her life. But growing up, I did not fully understand who my mother was, because there was something inside of her which was very difficult for her to portray and to show and to express, not just to her family and her friends and her co-workers, but also to her kids. I actually was able to find one of her journal entries that she wrote in 2010. And I think that to best summarize who she was for everyone here, not just her family, not just for her co-workers or her friends, but for everyone to really understand who my mother was, I think this best summarizes just her belief and her philosophy on life. So this entry, and was her very first entry, and it's dated January 3rd, 2010, so about a year and a half ago. And I'm just going to read one paragraph, which is in the middle of it. So my mother wrote, "Thank you so much to the infamous French physicist Nicolas Léonard Sadi-Carnot for giving me the inspiration and the second law of thermodynamics, which is the cornerstone of my belief. As a high school student, I fell in love with physics because of the law of entropy. The textbook version of the second law expresses that in real-world processes, the changes and those that motivate such changes, the fundamental time symmetry, are irreversible and create an overall increase in the total entropy of the universe." When I read this, I had no idea what she was saying, and I still kind of don't, but I hope we can all just kind of make our version of it. In her version, which she kind of brings into her own perspective on life, she takes this theory, scientific theory, and she writes, "In my own version, the process of change that may appear to be inefficient if isolated in individual incidences, for example, making a bad decision that negatively affects me being my mother, in fact increases the overall positivity to the sum of me and the surroundings." What she means by this, in my opinion, from what I can extract, is that we cannot judge a person by the everyday actions or the individual actions that a person takes. It is the overall, the macro scale, which she brought into her life. And I continue, "Some of my actions may be irreversible, no matter how wasteful and useless they may seem. Their benefits will be realized somewhere else, for somebody else, or at a later time. With this philosophy, I have a tendency to assess life with a macroscopic point of view and expend energy with much hesitation, as long as it is with good intentions." So this is just one excerpt of her journal entry, which begins to really unveil the complexity of who my mom was. And I hope that maybe one day this will all be clear for not just myself and for Daniel, but also for my younger brother, Tyler, who unfortunately did not get to spend as much time with her as we did. As we all know, she was a multi-talented person who loved both art and science. And I hope that her legacy can live on, because she has done so much that has changed the whole world. She is an unsung heroine in this world. And I hope, and I'm positive, she will be remembered by more than just the people in this room. Thank you.
these days after your mom passed away, you spend a lot of time alone doing something special for your mom. Can you share?